Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're all about, well, marketing that really matters. We're going deep into Seth Godin's This is Marketing, trying to find
The good stuff.
yeah, exactly, the gems. We know your time's valuable, so we're going to keep it focused and fun. So
Definitely.
thankfully, I've got I'd say a marketing guru with us today to help connect the dots.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, this book, it's not like your typical marketing, handbook. We're
Right.
talking about really shifting from just making stuff to making an impact and
Yeah.
finding your tribe, not chasing everyone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
smallest viable market, not biggest possible audience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Godin, he really kind of flips the script on how we usually think about marketing.
Yeah.
It's not about, shouting your message as loud as you can and hoping that something sticks.
Yeah.
It's more about finding those people who really care
Yeah.
about what you have to offer and then creating something that is really valuable for them.
It's like that saying, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Godin, he uses this great example. Have you heard of Penguin Magic?
Yeah, vaguely.
So they sell magic tricks, right?
Yeah.
But their success, their real success, came from fostering a community. They made this space for magicians to connect and learn and grow together.
So they weren't just selling illusions, they were building like a movement, a shared passion.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's exactly what Godin means by finding your smallest viable market. It's not about limiting yourself, but about maximizing your impact
Okay.
by focusing on a specific group that really, truly resonates with what you do.
Okay, so how do we define that smallest viable market?
Yeah.
Because it's tempting to try to appeal to everyone, especially when you're starting out.
Totally. Yeah, it's a common trap, but Godin reminds us that trying to please everyone often ends up pleasing no one. Instead, we need to get specific. Think about a niche group of people, who are genuinely excited about what you do.
So we're not casting this huge net. We're going for more of a laser focus.
Yeah, I like that.
Those who are most likely to get excited about what we're doing.
Exactly. And the book highlights some really inspiring examples of this, like Susan Paver and the Open Heart Project.
Okay.
It started as a very simple, online meditation community. But now it's the largest in the world
Wow.
because she identified this need and she just addressed it so authentically.
Yeah.
She attracted this really devoted audience that resonated with her message.
It's proof that even like a global movement can start with just one person's focused effort.
It really can.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a sec. What about those of us who aren't leading meditation movements?
Right.
How does this smallest viable market idea work for a new product launch or a local business?
It's a great question, and it still all boils down to that specificity. Godin, he uses the example of Danny Meyer and his famous Union Square Cafe in New York City.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that place.
When it first opened, Meyer knew that he couldn't, cater to everyone in the city.
Right.
So he decided to focus on creating this really exceptional experience for a specific group of diners, those who really appreciated fine dining.
Okay.
And that's that focus on a smaller, more specific market is what fueled their success.
That's so counterintuitive, Like we're always told to aim for the masses.
Yeah.
But it sounds like narrowing your focus can be like a superpower.
It really can be. It's about making a real impact instead of spreading yourself too thin. Another great example Godin uses is the Grateful Dead.
Oh,
They
good.
weren't topping the charts with hit singles or anything,
Right.
but they had this incredibly dedicated fan base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
They understood their niche, and those passionate fans, they filled stadiums, and kept them going for decades.
It's amazing how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've found our tribe, our
Okay.
smallest viable market, and we're laser focused.
Yeah.
Now, how do we crawl inside their heads
Yeah.
and really, really understand them?
You're getting it. Godin, he stresses how important it is to understand your audience's worldview, their beliefs, motivations, fears, their aspirations.
Okay.
He uses this cautionary tale
Oh, no.
of Ron Johnson, who was the former CEO of JCPenney.
Oh, yeah.
He tried to rebrand the store based on his own preferences, and he completely ignored the existing customer base.
Ouch, that sounds That sounds rough.
It was a disaster.
Oh, man. Okay, so how do we avoid like an epic fail like that?
Right.
How do
Yeah.
we really figure out what our audience actually cares about?
Well, Godin suggests using what he calls personas. These are like fictional but really detailed representations of your ideal customer.
Okay.
He gives examples like Bargain Bill, who's
Okay.
always looking for a good deal,
Yeah.
and Hurried Henry, who prioritizes speed and convenience.
Okay, so we're thinking about their personalities, their values, their
He's
daily struggles, their desires.
You got it. The more you understand your audience, the better you can connect with them on this emotional level.
That's really interesting.
And that's where things get really interesting because Godin talks about using tension.
Tension.
Yeah. To drive action.
Like building suspense, like keeping people on the edge of their seats.
Not exactly, but it does involve creating a sense of urgency or a desire for change.
Okay.
Think about things like limited time offers or exclusive access. These tactics really tap into our fear of missing out, or FOMO, which
Oh, yeah, the classic FOMO.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that could be a really powerful motivator.
But isn't that, I don't know, a little bit manipulative? Like playing on people's anxieties.
Well, it can be if it's used unethically.
Right.
But Godin, he links this idea of tension to status.
Yeah.
Like people's desire to belong, to fit in, to get ahead.
Or to avoid being left behind.
Exactly.
So how does this tension status combo actually play out, like in the real world?
Yeah. Okay. Godin shares this really fascinating case study
Okay.
about conservationists working with Maasai warriors in Africa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Traditionally, killing a lion was a rite of passage for young men.
Yeah.
It was a symbol of bravery and status within their community.
Right.
But lion populations were plummeting, and something had to change.
Yikes. That's a tough situation.
Yeah. And the conservationists realized that simply telling the warriors to stop killing lions, that just wasn't going to work.
No.
They had to understand the importance of status and respect within the Maasai culture. So they worked within that existing framework, and they introduced this new rite of passage
Okay.
that involved protecting lions instead of killing them.
Wow.
And guess what? It actually worked.
That's incredible. They flipped the script.
Yeah.
They made conservation like cool and appealed to the warriors' sense of status.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's bring it back to marketing. How do we responsibly, tap into these ideas of tension and status?
It all comes back to really understanding your audience. What are their aspirations, their status symbols? What are they afraid of missing out on?
Okay.
Once you understand these drivers, you can craft your messaging, your offerings, in a way that genuinely resonates with their desire to belong or to elevate their status.
So it's like creating the sense of, hey, you're one of us and we're doing this really cool thing.
Yeah.
You should join us.
Exactly. And it's not just about attracting new people. It's also about deepening the relationship with your existing audience.
Yeah.
Godin talks about the importance of permission, trust, and what he calls enrollment.
Enrollment. Okay, that's interesting. Can you unpack that a bit? What does it mean to enroll your audience?
Okay, think of it this way. Traditional advertising, it's often about grabbing attention, like with a flashy ad or something.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily build a lasting connection. Enrollment is more about creating this genuine relationship with people who are receptive to your message. Godin uses the example of Spotify's Rap Caviar playlist.
Oh, I've heard of that, yeah.
To illustrate this point, millions of people subscribe to it, right?
Yeah.
So they're essentially giving Spotify permission to share new music with them.
Okay.
And Spotify built this trust by consistently delivering value.
So instead of relying on rented attention, like on social media where algorithms can change overnight, you're building an owned asset.
Exactly.
A community of people who've actually opted in and are eager to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense, but building that kind of trust, it takes time and effort.
It does. There's no quick fix, but Godin stresses the value of consistently showing up and offering something valuable to your audience.
So it's not just about blasting out messages and hoping for the best. It's about building a real relationship.
You got it. And that's how you create a sustainable marketing strategy that truly resonates with your audience.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a long game for sure.
Which can be tough in a world of instant gratification.
Absolutely. but the payoff is worth it.
Okay, so we're earning permission, we're building trust,
Yeah.
but ultimately, we want people to take action. We want them to buy our product or support our cause.
Right.
How do we encourage that engagement?
Well, Godin talks about designing for evangelism. It's about making your idea so compelling, so rewarding, that people they can't help but share it with others.
Okay.
He uses Slack as an example. The more people in your company that use it,
Yeah.
the more useful and indispensable it becomes.
It's like a snowball effect. The more people that join in,
Yeah.
the bigger and better it gets for everyone.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that kind of organic growth, it's incredibly powerful.
Mm.
But Godin also warns us about a potential roadblock that he calls the chasm,
Oh.
which often separates those early adopters from the mass market.
The chasm, that sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, it's this gap that can really trip up even the most brilliant ideas.
Okay.
Early adopters, those adventurous souls.
Yeah.
They're drawn to novelty, and they're willing to take risks.
Okay.
They're happy to try something new, even if it's a bit, rough around the edges.
They're the ones who'll camp out overnight to get the newest gadget or whatever.
Exactly. But the mass market, that's a different story.
Yeah.
They're looking for something proven, something reliable and familiar.
Makes sense.
They want to know that it works and that other people like them are using it.
So how do we bridge that chasm? How do we make our innovative idea appeal to the masses without, alienating the early adopters who helped us get there?
That's where storytelling comes in.
Okay.
Godin emphasizes crafting a narrative that resonates with both groups.
Okay.
A story that highlights the novelty and excitement for those early adopters.
Yeah.
While also showcasing the benefits and the reliability for the more cautious majority.
So it's like weaving together two different threads.
Exactly.
Appealing to the sense of adventure while also reassuring everyone that, this is a smart choice.
Yeah, you got it.
Can you give me a real-world example?
Sure. Godin talks about the LED building certification program.
Oh, yeah.
It started as this niche concept embraced by architects and builders who were, really passionate about sustainability.
Hmm.
But it eventually became the industry standard.
Wow. So how did that happen?
Well, they told a story that emphasized both the environmental benefits
Yeah.
and the long-term cost savings, so that appealed to a much wider audience.
That's brilliant. It's not just about the what, but the why.
Yeah.
So when we're launching a new product or a new idea, we need to really think about that story and how it resonates with different people.
Absolutely. And crossing that chasm, it often requires some flexibility. You might need to tweak your messaging,
Okay.
refine your offering, or maybe collaborate with others to reach a wider market.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've got permission, we've built trust, we've got a great story.
Right.
Now, how do we cut through all the noise and actually get our message in front of the right people?
It comes down to choosing the right channels
Okay.
and tactics that really align with your strategy and your audience.
Right.
Gordon, he cautions against over-relying on traditional advertising, especially those expensive brand marketing campaigns.
So he's not a fan of, Super Bowl ads.
Well, he's not saying they never work,
Okay.
but he argues that they're often a poor investment,
Yeah.
especially for smaller businesses. They're costly, they're fleeting, and they don't always translate into tangible results.
So what's the alternative? What does he recommend instead?
He's a big advocate for what he calls permission marketing. So building a direct relationship with your audience, earning their trust, and communicating with them in a way that they find valuable.
Okay.
It's about providing value, not just vying for attention.
So it's about building that email list, creating content that people actually want to read or watch,
Exactly.
fostering a sense of community.
You got it. And it's about understanding that reaching the right people, it takes time and consistency.
But doesn't that get, a little bit boring, doing the same thing over and over again?
It can, but Godin distinguishes between being repetitive and being consistent.
Okay.
Consistency is about sticking with your core message and your values, while repetition is just repeating the same actions without thought or intention.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, being reliable, being engaging, keeping people interested while also staying true to your brand.
Exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Godin uses this really a compelling metaphor to describe this.
Oh, I love a good metaphor.
He compares building a smallest viable market to planting a tree.
Okay.
You nurture it, you care for it, and over time, it grows stronger and taller.
Yeah.
As it grows, it provides shade, it bears fruit, and it attracts more people to enjoy its benefits.
That's a beautiful analogy. It's like creating a thriving ecosystem where everyone benefits.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that not everyone is our ideal customer.
Right.
Godin reminds us that it's okay to say, it's not for you,
Yeah.
which allows you to focus your energy on those who really resonate with what you do.
It's liberating, really, giving yourself permission to not be everything to everyone.
It really is. It allows us to approach marketing with authenticity and generosity. It's about connection, not coercion.
Speaking of connection, let's talk about trust.
Yeah.
We've talked about it throughout this whole dive.
Right.
But why is trust so crucial in marketing, especially today?
Godin argues that trust is really the foundation of any successful marketing effort. In this world of information overload and constant distractions, trust is what cuts through the noise and allows people to connect with your message.
But trust is so fragile. It can be so easily broken.
Absolutely. And once it's broken, it's incredibly difficult to rebuild. That's why it's so important to approach marketing with integrity and transparency.
So no bait and switch tactics, no hidden fees, no spamming people's inboxes.
Exactly. Godin emphasizes being upfront and honest with your audience, making promises you can keep and delivering on them consistently.
So it's about building that reputation for reliability and authenticity, being someone people can count on.
Precisely. And that's how you create a sustainable marketing strategy that genuinely resonates and makes a real difference.
So how do we actually build that trust? What are some steps we can take?
Godin suggests focusing on creating authentic connections with your audience. Be transparent about your process. Share your story. Be willing to be vulnerable.
So let people see kind of behind the curtain.
Exactly. Let them see who you are, what you stand for.
But doesn't that feel a little bit exposing, vulnerable?
It can. But Godin argues that vulnerability is actually a strength.
Okay.
It lets you connect with people on this deeper level and build a sense of shared humanity.
Because it's about being real, being human, and letting people see our imperfections.
Precisely. And remember, building trust, it's an ongoing process. It requires consistent effort and a willingness to be open and honest with your audience.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room here.
Okay.
Social media, it's everywhere. We can't avoid it.
Right.
But Godin seems to have a complicated relationship with it.
Yeah.
What's his take on social media marketing?
Well, he recognizes the power of social media to reach a broad audience.
Yeah.
But he also cautions against its potential pitfalls.
Okay.
He sees it as a tool that can be both beneficial and detrimental, depending on how it's used.
So a double-edged sword.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He cautions against over-relying on social media platforms to build your audience because you're essentially just renting their attention.
Okay.
You don't own the platform, and you don't control the rules.
Right. So one algorithm change and your whole strategy could be gone.
That's always a risk.
Yeah.
So Godin emphasizes diversifying your marketing efforts and building an audience that you can reach directly without relying on a third-party platform.
Makes sense. But what about the people who are already engaging with our brand on social media? Should we just abandon them?
Not at all. He suggests using social media strategically to connect with your existing audience. Yeah. Share your story and drive traffic to your own channels.
Okay.
Like your website or email lists.
So use it as a bridge, not as the foundation of the whole strategy.
Be mindful of the time and energy that you're investing in social media and make sure that it aligns with your overall marketing goals.
Okay, so let's wrap up with a final thought here.
Sure.
What's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with from our deep dive into This is Marketing?
I think Godin's core message is that marketing, it's not about manipulation or trickery.
Right.
It's about creating genuine value for those who care about what you offer. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
So it's about marketing that matters.
Exactly. And that's something we can all aspire to. Yeah, it's about, really making a difference. Golden, he pushes us to see marketing as this force for positive change.
Yeah.
It says that if you don't market the change you want to see, you're essentially withholding something valuable from the people who need it.
Wow, that's a really powerful thought.
Yeah.
It makes you think that if you have an idea or a product that could really help people,
Right?
you have this responsibility to share it, to market it effectively.
Absolutely. And that's where all these principles that we've been talking about come in.
Yeah.
Understanding your audience, building that trust, creating tension, designing for evangelism. It's about finding those right people.
Right.
And inviting them to be a part of that change that you're creating.
So it's not just about selling something or getting clicks.
Okay.
It's about making a real contribution.
Exactly. And that's what makes marketing so exciting, so impactful. It's about using our creativity and our understanding of human behavior to make the world a little bit better.
Well said. I think this deep dive into Godin's This Is Marketing has been really eye-opening.
Yeah.
It's really challenged how I think about marketing.
It's been a pleasure diving in with you.
Yeah.
I hope our listeners, I hope they feel inspired
Yeah.
to approach their own marketing with more intention, with more empathy, and with a deeper understanding of the power of human connection.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We'll catch you next time
Sounds good.
for another deep dive into ideas that matter.
It really is, about making that difference. And Godin, he pushes us to see marketing as a force for good, like positive change.
Yeah, yeah.
He even says that, like, if you're not marketing the change you want to see, you're basically withholding something valuable from those people who need it.
That's a powerful thought. Like, if you have an idea, if you have a product that can really help people, it's almost your responsibility to share it, to market it, in a way that works.
Absolutely. And that's where all these principles we've been talking about come in.
Yeah.
Understanding your audience, building that trust, creating tension, designing for evangelism. It's all about finding those right people.
Right.
And inviting them to be a part of the change that you're creating.
So it's not just about selling something,
No.
or getting those clicks.
It's not just about that.
It's about making a contribution.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes marketing so exciting and so impactful.
Mm-hmm.
It's about using our creativity, using our understanding of human behavior to really make the world a little bit better.
Well said. Well said. I think this deep dive into marketing has been really, it's been eye-opening for me.
It has for me too.
It's really changed how I think about marketing.
I agree, and it's been a pleasure diving in with you.
Yeah, likewise, likewise.
And I hope our listeners feel inspired to approach their own marketing, with more intention, more empathy, and a deeper understanding of that power of human connection.
I couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been great.
And we'll catch you next time for another deep dive into ideas that matter.
Absolutely.
See you then.